And hey, welcome back everybody to Cooking with Recipes at the Studio 5 Productions kitchen. Today, Amanda and I are going to do a couple things. She's going to do most of it. I'm going to help her as her assistant. This is basically a completely plant-based breakfast. So since I'm a meat eater, I'm going to watch and see what she does and learn. And I'm actually going to try tofu scramble for the very first time with some ingredients that I've never tried before. So I'm kind of excited about that. I didn't even try this when I was on the vegan challenge. So we're first going to start off with a tropical smoothie. And Amanda, tell me about your guys' tropical smoothie that you guys use at home and how you make it.
Yeah, so oftentimes we are very busy. Jason and I have an 8-year-old and an 8-month-old. We like good nutritious breakfasts, but sometimes we don't always have time to sit down for breakfast, so we'll throw something in the blender really quick. So our basic smoothie would be a cup of raw oats. We throw that in the bottom first. 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed. That's a way for us to get some healthy fats and omega-3s into our diet. About a cup or so of whatever frozen fruit we have. We do tropical, we do berry mixes, sometimes we do peaches, bananas, whatever we're feeling for the morning. A tablespoon or 2 of peanut butter, 2 bananas, cinnamon, ginger, then a cup of water and a cup of whatever plant milk we have in the fridge. It's generally almond, cashew, oat, something like that. So because we're making the tofu scramble for breakfast burritos, I did not put oats in it this time. And in the tropical blend, I'm not a huge fan of the peanut butter. It gives it a good texture, but it's not a great blend with the pineapple. So we will start off with basic stuff. We did 1 banana. I'm gonna eyeball our measurements of fruit. We're gonna split this smoothie. So this one is a mixture, it looks like mangoes, peaches, strawberries, pineapple. I'm going to do a cup of vanilla almond milk. That is what they had in the fridge. And a cup of cold water. We're also going to add a dash of cinnamon. You should do it based on your taste preference. This just adds a nice small dose of antioxidants to your morning.
So Amanda, with the tropical blend, is it frozen or is it fresh? I mean, out of the bag. Did you get it out of the refrigerator?
This one is out of the freezer. I like to use frozen fruit because then we do not have to use ice cubes. If you have fresh fruit, you would use ice cubes to make it a little cooler. You would not have to use as much liquid because it'll break down a little more.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, if we use frozen fruit. Do we need ice because ice is basically water, so would we reduce the amount of water that we put in, or just it's better to go with frozen fruit?
Better, I prefer to use the frozen fruit method. It's also a little more affordable. You don't have to worry about things going bad as quickly. So
I'll mention we're using the Ninja Professional 1100 watt blender today. You can pick these up at any of your big box stores, order it online. I'll have a link in the bottom on our YouTube channel if you would like to purchase one.
all right,
Good.
give that a try.
All right, let me see some glasses.
Fancy. This just lift off. Do you have to turn it? All right. 4 spout even. Let's see. All right.
As always, I'll have the recipes posted below. Also, they should have scrolled across your screen already. And then I will add the options to this. So cheers.
Cheers.
Very delicious.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yummy.
I can see where it would be really good with the oats and something heavier in it, so you can make it as a meal by itself. Plus get all the nutrients that you're needing during the day. So if you're going to use this as a breakfast meal, explain where the protein and the macronutrients are coming from.
So depending on what your lifestyle is like, if we're going to be training that day, there are times that we will add some protein powder. It doesn't happen all the time. I am currently a nursing mother, so I like to add as much extra nutrients as I can. That way I know that my baby's getting everything that she needs. Otherwise, it's a reason we add the powdered protein or the powdered peanut butter or the scoop of peanut butter in there. 2 tablespoons of peanut butter generally has about 8 grams of protein, so we get that added in. Oats also come packed with protein as well. A lot of grains and legumes have tons of protein in them, so that is a good place for us to get it. We get fat from the peanut butter as well, and depending on what you have, like as a tropical smoothie, there's tons of vitamin C in here, so that's great for multiple reasons, especially right now, immune health. So we enjoy using different berries. A lot of times we will throw spinach or kale, whatever greens that we have in the house, will go into it. We buy big containers and we eat on them for as long as we can when they're fresh. Then we just throw them in the freezer, and they're a great handful in your smoothie. It's a good dose of iron, calcium.
Very good. Yeah, Tara and I do a lot of green drinks as well, and a lot of people that are worried about the taste of spinach or kale that is added to the drinks, you really honestly do not taste it. It will turn your drink green, but you don't taste it, so it's very good for that. Also, what about the concern of high sugar levels because of the fruit that we're using?
So because we use full whole fruit and not fruit juices, we are getting sugar and fiber. Fiber will help our body absorb the sugar correctly and get everything moving in the system, so everything is absorbed where it needs to be in the small intestine. So sugar is not a concern with smoothies if you're using whole fruit and not fruit juices. You want to make sure sugar is paired with the fiber. Nature is really good at making sure we need everything, or that we get everything that we need from its bounty.
Excellent. Well, thank you. This is delicious.
Yes.
And I look forward to having the Tofu Scramble next.
Yeah, I look forward to making it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Cooking with Recipes in the Studio 5 production studios. Today we're going to still enjoy our breakfast drinks, but now we're going to focus on a tofu scramble. To be honest with you, I'm a little nervous about this. I'm an egg eater, I'm a meat eater, I love my eggs. That was one thing that when I did the vegan challenge that I missed the most was my eggs. So I just love my morning eggs, I love breakfast for dinner, and a little concern about the tofu. I've been in the nutrition industry for 25 years, and what I've been taught over the years, and it's kind of a 50-50, depends on who you ask, that tofu has potential to cause cancer. So I'm going to turn it over to Amanda that knows all about tofu. And so answer that. What are my concerns with potential cancer, especially breast cancer?
So a lot of people do have a misconception with cancer and soy products in general. So tofu is made from soybeans. It is made similar to the way cheese would be made from regular dairy milk. It is curdled, they squeeze all the water out of it, and you get a nice block of tofu the way you would a block of cheese. So soy has phytoestrogens. Phyto means it comes from plants. Phytoestrogens do look like they mimic or are similar to estrogen that you would find in mammals. However, it is not as potent as the estrogen you would find in mammals, and it does not behave the same way in the body. So over the past decade, there have been lots of human trials trying to see how the body reacts to soy proteins versus animal proteins. And they have found that soy can stop the growth of cancer and reverse the growth of cancer. There have been studies starting in the 70s. Dr. T. Colin Campbell did studies. You can read about them in the China study. They used rats to see how proteins fed cancerous cells. So a lot of cells need protein in order to grow and replicate. In the mice and rats that had the animal protein, 100% of the time they ended up with cancer, regardless of how much protein they were being fed. Once those rats were given soy protein, the cancer stopped growing, and eventually the rats were completely cancer-free. So once the human trials started, they were able to see that human bodies react in a very similar fashion. So in cancers that are fueled by hormones such as prostate cancer and breast cancer. It's actually had reverse effects, contrary to popular belief of soy causing breast tissue to grow in men. If that were the case, the plastic surgery industry would probably be out of business, because soy products would give women the chest that they want.
So my concern is protein, because that's why I love eggs. When
Yes.
I played football and I worked out all the time, I ate tons of eggs for my protein. So tell me about the protein that's in the soy.
When you compare 8 ounces of tofu to 2 eggs, the tofu actually wins in the protein department. So 2 eggs generally would come with about, now I
12
can't remember,
grams.
12 grams. Yeah,
12
12 grams of protein. The tofu comes with 18. So that's still a little more protein. So it wins in that area, which is pretty cool. Another place that tofu would win the battle would be in the calcium department. So tofu comes with about 30% of your daily recommended intake of calcium versus eggs having about 4%. So that's in 2 large eggs, 2% of your calcium. So depending on what your diet is like, for us at home, we eat mainly plants. We need to make sure we're getting enough calcium in to keep us healthy. Another place that tofu takes the cake would be in your iron. So iron's another thing that we would normally be getting from animal flesh or products. Because we do not consume it, we have to make sure that we are getting enough iron. So iron gets from tofu. Iron has about 18% of your daily recommended intake, and eggs has 12. So not a huge increase, but still you're not lacking in anything in that area. So something else that stands out for us in a health situation would be eggs come with about 338 milligrams of cholesterol. So that's a lot of cholesterol. That's about 112% of what the recommended daily value would be. Tofu has no cholesterol. So if you are a person that has high cholesterol already, finding ways to cut it out every once in a while, it wouldn't have to be 100% overhaul of your diet. But if trying something like Tofu Scramble is something that you enjoy, a couple times a month you could switch it out just for something new. It wouldn't necessarily have to be replacing it. It's just another recipe added to your book.
Excellent, thanks. So we're going to get started. We're going to get everything prepared, and the recipe will be flashing across the bottom of your screen as we start to cook it. And also it'll be listed below in the comments underneath the video. So if you like what you're seeing, click on like. That helps us get out there so more people can see us. Follow us on YouTube at Elevate Wellness, the number 4 Life. So Elevate Wellness for Life. And hit the bell, and every time we do a video, you'll be updated. So give us a like and help us get out there.
All right. Tofu Scramble is very easy, very quick, similar to cooking scrambled eggs. So I am using a pack of extra firm tofu. You can really use any tofu. I prefer to use firm or extra firm because it's less water that has to cook out. I just cut the top off, drained all the water, gave it a good rinse, and we're just gonna put it directly into the pan. So you are able to crumble this in a separate bowl if you would like, however you like to do it. We are very simple in our house, so this might be too squishy of a spatula at first. Oh, it'll be fine. Okay, so I just crumble it in the pan as everything starts to heat. So tofu is something that you can eat raw. I personally don't like it that way, but I know other people that do. And it really has no flavor, so it takes on the flavor of anything that you cook it with.
I heard that, and a lot of Asian dishes have tofu in it, and I eat that all the time and never think twice about it. And I've never noticed that it had a flavor. It's just eating that much at one time, a little concerned. So what would you season this with as we cook?
For the scramble, we use nutritional yeast, salt, garlic. I like to add pepper, then you can kind of spice it up with whatever. I have added cayenne pepper to it a few times, sometimes a little bit of cumin or chili powder. We've used hummus a couple times just to add an extra level of flavor and texture. You really could add anything. Today, in our spice, I already did our spice blend. It is 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. For those of you who do not know, nutritional yeast is an inactive yeast. It is said to have kind of a nutty, cheesy flavor. I don't believe it really tastes that much like cheese, but we add it to a lot of our dishes. It is a way for us to get some extra vitamins and minerals. Because we do not eat animal products, we do not get vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is in the ground. A lot of animals will get it because they eat grass right off the ground. So it's something that we can supplement or we can get from nutritional yeast. While we're on the subject of supplements though, on a plant-based diet, we generally do supplement vitamin D. We try to get as much vitamin D from the sun during the time of year when you're able to absorb it. But having a dietary supplement is okay. And for meat eaters too. A lot of people are deficient in vitamin D. So yeah, we just crumble this up. Sometimes I use a fork, sometimes I use a potato masher, whatever.
Yeah, I have a potato masher.
Chop it up to whatever size you like. So we're just cooking the water out of this.
Yeah, I noticed you didn't use any oil or anything, so usually when I cook my scrambled eggs, I use a little bit of oil or butter in the bottom. You didn't use anything, so why is that?
So you are able to. A lot of recipes for Tofu Scramble does say to cook with olive oil, any vegetable oil, or butter. Butter adds a really good flavor to it, definitely. So if you are not watching your oil intake, then butter is a great option because it adds a good level of flavor.
Real butter?
No, we use plant butter in our house, but it depends. If you are not completely plant-based, you are welcome to cook it with whatever you want.
So when I got this, I got extra firm tofu. What's the difference between like firm tofu, extra firm, and then there was, I think, an extra firm tofu?
So it's all water content. So the extra firm tofu has almost no water in it, and then it goes all the way to silken tofu. Silken tofu is really good to add, so I'm just going to add the seasonings to this. If your tofu gets too dry, you are always welcome to add a little bit more water or plant milk. Plant milk will make it nice and fluffy like eggs, so that's an option. I believe we only have vanilla and sweetened milk.
Yep, vanilla and sweetened.
So we're not going to add that to this because that would not be a good level of flavor. But if it looks like it's going to be a little dry, we can always add a little bit of water. So a little faster. So we're just going to do a little bit of water. That'll help the tofu reabsorb any flavors that are in the pan. All right. I started mentioning it before, but seasoned in this right now is 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. That's what gives it the nice eggy look, and it adds a really nice flavor without being overwhelming.
Turmeric's good for you too.
Turmeric is great for you, anti-inflammatory. Yep. It's good for your body. And then we did about a teaspoon of salt or so. One thing that tofu does have is a little bit higher sodium content, and that's because it is from a soybean. Soybean does have a higher sodium content, which you may be familiar with if you consume soy sauce. Soy sauce is very high in sodium. So I do not like to put a lot of salt in here. We just use other things to enhance the flavors. So then we use a little bit of garlic powder. I did not pepper this because I'm used to cooking for my 8-year-old. He is not a huge fan of pepper.
So I had the tortillas in the oven at 200 degrees. We put them in there just before we started. Usually I would do them on a hot plate, but since we didn't have 2 cooktops, we just put them in the oven. It works just fine, 200 degrees, and they're good.
This is by a brand called Dea. It's made out of chickpeas, so another way to get some extra protein. Let's see. So 1 serving is about a 1/4 cup. We probably won't be using that much, but yeah. So it's just a little bit of tapioca starch and chickpea protein. So yeah,
it tastes pretty good. I am also a cheese fan, and you want me?
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know how much you want.
That's okay. However much.
So Tara and I like to do breakfast tacos as well. So if you don't want a burrito and be on the go, you could definitely do a taco.
Mm-hmm.
So about 1/4 cup to 1/3 cup, I would say that probably
Definitely. Okay, and then let me just pour some of
is.
this
Pour it
on.
in. There's a spoon right there.
Oh yeah. I've been thinking about this all day. Really since our last cooking with recipes. All right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Did you say you put some green pepper in here too?
Yep, we cooked it with some green pepper. I'm gonna add some shreds.
You could add onion to that, green
Definitely.
pepper, anything that you want.
Avocado.
I would usually do jalapeno, but we're actually going to use my green chili today. So,
I don't know if you want to just grab it at your house.
yeah, we'll put it, do it this way.
Sanitary.
Very good.
Cool.
All right. So we're gonna add a salsa on here that is a green chili. It's made out of jalapenos, garlic, tomatoes, onions, all of it roasted, and then put in a blender. And I will put that recipe up.
So good. I've
At
been eating
another
it my
time.
whole life, and it's one of my favorite things.
All right.
Okay. Did these get too crunchy?
Roll. No, very good.
Okay.
All right. The moment of truth.
I'm so excited for you to try it. Probably just tortilla on the first bite.
Mm-hmm. All right. It's really good. A lot of tortilla in the first bite, so I'm going to try some right out of the pan. That's really good.
Good.
Really good.
I'm glad you like it.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us again today with our tofu scramble and smoothie.
Yes.
Remember, if you like what you saw today, click on the like button, throw us a couple hearts. Follow us on YouTube at Elevate Wellness for Life, and that's the number 4 Life. And click on the bell so you get the updates when we post more videos. All right, guys. God bless. Have a great day.
Take care.